everyone, welcome to my channel Bibbidi Bobbidi Books. My name is Ellie and this is going to be a reading vlog. So I am currently in Wales. My husband and I are staying in the caravan for a few nights and I thought I'd film a bit of a reading vlog because it's going to be a cozy few days. The weather is awful. It was raining all day yesterday and today it's super windy. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but it's blowing a gale. So yeah, I hope that you enjoy this vlog. In terms of my reading plans, yesterday I started a couple of books. So I started Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. I'm sure you've probably heard a lot of people talking about this one. This is the sequel to Fourth Wing, which took YouTube by storm when it first came out. It's a new adult fantasy and I would describe it as a fantasy romance. I definitely feel like the romance is a significant part of the story in this one, and I had a fun time with Fourth Wing. I wouldn't say it's a new favourite or anything. I don't think it does anything particularly new and it's incredibly tropey, a little bit over the top with the drama and the romance, but I had a fun time and I buddy read it with my friend and we were like two giddy school children. Like, it reminded me of the Twilight days and kind of like just giggling over the romance. So yeah, I've been having a fun time reading it with her and I'm reading this one with her as well. We're going to do 50 pages per day. So I've read the first 50 pages. I'm up to chapter 6 and I will say that I thought I could remember everything that happened in Fourth Wing because I read it fairly recently and honestly I've kind of forgotten everything. I feel like it just hasn't stuck with me. So it's taken me a little while to get into this one. There's lots of names I need to remember and yeah, it's been a little bit slow going, but I'm hoping that it will pick up soon. I will also say that the romance in here is a little bit frustrating. I get that the author wants to keep things interesting for the reader, and a lot of the time I feel like readers tend to lose interest once the romance is established because a lot of the excitement is in two characters getting together, especially if it's an enemies to lovers romance, which it was in the first book. And so I feel like in this book she's kind of added a little bit of drama to try and create tension between the two love interests in the story, just to keep everyone's attention and interest, and it just feels quite obvious to me and kind of annoying. It's that idea that our main character is, you know, annoyed at her love interest because he's been holding secrets from her when it's actually, you know, he had very valid reasons for holding those secrets against her, and it just feels like she's holding this grudge for no real reason, and it's just a plot device basically to make some tension between the characters. But yeah, I'm hoping to have as much fun with this one as I did the first one. I realise I haven't told you what this book is about. Obviously it's the second book in a series, so I can't really give any information about the actual plot of the second book, but the first book follows our main character Violet, who basically is enrolled in this school, this military school, because the fantasy world is at war and it needs all of its people to help with the war effort, and she basically goes into this faction which is training her up to become a dragon rider, which is the most lethal position within the school, and she has to go through these trials and it's very dangerous. There's a lot of competition between the different dragon riders, and yeah, she kind of starts to uncover some secrets about the politics and perhaps realizes that she hasn't necessarily been told the whole truth by her family and by the politicians around her, and her eyes are kind of opened a little bit in the first book, and she has to make a decision about what she wants to stand for. And yeah, we're just following on with that story in this second book. I also started this book, which is Daughters of the Lake, written by Wendy Webb. I feel like this is one that I've been meaning to pick up for so long, and I finally did. I'm about 50 pages into this one as well, which is a decent chunk because this isn't anywhere near as thick as this one. But yeah, I've been having fun with this one so far. It is a supernatural thriller and it's historical, and it basically follows several different perspectives, but the main perspective is a woman called Kate who recently divorced her husband and is now living with her parents in her parents' home, which is this house on the lake. And one day she finds this dead body that's been washed up at the lake's edge, and no one in the town, none of the police or anything, recognise the body. The only person who recognises her is our main character, and weirdly enough she's never actually met this woman before, but she has dreamt about her many times, so she seems to have this psychological link with this woman. And the woman who's found dead in the lake is wearing historical clothing. She seems to be from a different era, and she also has a child with her as well, who unfortunately also didn't survive. And so we're kind of just following what on earth is going on. It jumps between timelines, so we've got Kate in the modern day, but then we also get thrown back to the 1800s, I think it is, and we're following what I presume to be this woman who we find the body of. And yeah, it's taken a little while to get into it because we are jumping around from different perspectives and different timelines, and the chapters are quite short, so it is quite snappy. So it's been taking me a little while to kind of like get into it and really understand where we're going with this story, but I am very intrigued. There are some supernatural elements in there. There's been this idea of some kind of creature that lives in the lake, some kind of siren type creature, because some of the characters have been drawn to the lake by this music, which makes me think of sirens. So I don't know how that is all going to play into the story, but I'm very intrigued, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that one goes. So yeah, that's my little wrap up so far, and today we are just going to either curl up and just stay in the caravan again today just because the weather is so awful, or we might head out into Barmouth, which is a local town. We shall see, but I will keep you posted, and yeah, I guess I'll catch up with you a little bit later.
She's gonna tire herself out. Yeah, there we go. She'll sleep well tonight.
Good morning everybody, it's the next day. We had such a nice day yesterday despite the awful weather. We went to a town called Barmouth and we potted around and we went in some shops and things. There was this really cool bookshop that is just stuffed with all of these old books, and we explored, we went on the beach, and then we came back and we watched a horror movie called The Empty Man, which we both really enjoyed. It was one of those weird horror movies where you're kind of left at the end thinking like, what on earth happened? It was quite surreal, and then we spent ages like on YouTube trying to look up people's explanations of the plot, but yeah, we both really enjoyed that. And I have a couple of updates for you. So I've read a little bit more of Daughters of the Lake, and there's been a little bit more supernatural elements. We've actually had some ghosts appear in here, but they're not scary ghosts, which is quite interesting. They're just family members who are watching on, so I definitely feel like there's quite a lot of family in this story. I think it's going to be a little bit of a tale about family secrets and things like that. There's still quite a lot that I am not sure about, that I don't really know what's going on, but yeah, I'm looking forward to carrying on with that one and seeing where the plot goes. And then I've also read the next 50 pages of Iron Flame, so I'm about 100 pages in. I'm slowly working my way through this this beast, and it's definitely picking up. I'm falling back into the world now. I wouldn't say that I'm particularly invested. I think part of the problem for me is that I really enjoyed the first book because of the romance and because of the tropiness. I really liked the fact that we had trials and it was just a fun time, whereas I feel like this one is trying to take itself a little bit more seriously, and there's quite a lot of politics in this one, and I'm just not that invested in this world, and so I'm not that interested in all the politics and things. I kind of just want to get back to the fun. So yeah, we'll see where this one goes. I'm hoping that it gets a little bit more entertaining the further that we go through, but yeah, I'm happy with my progress so far. Anyway, I am going to head out soon. We are going to go and have a little look around a castle, which will be really fun. We're going to have the day out looking around the ruins, and then we're going to come back and have some snacks, and I'll probably do some more reading and probably play on the PlayStation. We've got Hogwarts Legacy, which I'm very, very excited to play later. So yeah, it's going to be a lovely day. So let's go. Hey everyone, so we've just arrived at Castle Bear, and yeah, there's a castle here which we can go and look around, which I'm so excited for. And honestly, the scenery here is just insane. Just the drive here was incredible. There's literally amazing views everywhere. There's so many mountains and just gorgeousness, and it's such a nice time of year as well because all the colours of the trees are just so beautiful. There's lots of oranges and autumnal colours, and it's just so magical. And yeah, I can't wait to go and find this castle. Are you excited?
Yeah. That's my contribution.
Let's go. We're here! We found it! We found the castle ruins. It's so cool! The views are amazing! I just love how there's literally no one here. So it feels like Danny and I have just stumbled upon like a secret. Like it's so quiet and peaceful, and we just discovered this this castle ruins in the Welsh countryside. I mean, we have been here before, but it never ceases to amaze me because it's just absolutely stunning and it's like a little hidden gem. I just love coming here. Hey everyone, so I've just done a little bit of research into this castle. So this castle is called Castle Bear, and it was built in the 1220s by a Welsh prince called Llewellyn ab Llyworth, and essentially he just wanted to control more of Wales than any other prince, and so he decided to build his castle here on this mountainous outcrop because it's surrounded by really lush pasture land, and lush land like this is pretty rare, and so controlling a range like this gave him year-round pasture for his cattle, and the resulting prosperity allowed him to build his castles in stone. So yeah, he basically just wanted this area because it's got super great farmland, and he became a really wealthy prince in Wales, I guess. But yeah, it was built in the 1220s, so pretty dang old. Hey Hey everyone, so it is the next day and I've had a lovely morning down by the beach. We went on a beach walk and the weather is so nice today, which is really lovely. So we spent a really decent amount of time just enjoying being here and soaking up the sun and breathing in the sea air, and it's just been so lovely and refreshing. It is actually our last day here at the caravan, which is kind of sad, but we've had such a lovely few days and it's just been the perfect break that I feel like we've both needed. So yeah, it's just been so much fun. And yeah, I just wanted to come on here because we're now back in the caravan and I've spent some time playing Hogwarts Legacy on the PlayStation, which has been so much fun. And then I've just sat down to do a bit more reading, and I've decided to DNF this book, which pains me to say because, I don't know, I'm a completionist and I hate putting books down without finishing them, and it just really bugs me that I've dedicated a significant amount of time to this story and I'm not even going to see it through to the end. But I just haven't been enjoying this one, and I've made it 112 pages in, so I gave it a good go, and I was just thinking, do you know what, I just don't really care about this story or about these characters anymore, and why am I trying to force my way to read through this story when I could be reading something else which could end up being a new favourite. So yeah, I've decided to put this one down. I think the main issue for me is the fact that it is so on a tangent. There's so many different like threads to this story, and while I was initially very intrigued by the main hook of the story and the main mystery, it's spent a lot of time going off in different directions. It talks about lots of different new characters, so it'll introduce someone and then it'll start talking about their grandma and talk about their grandma's history, and then it'll introduce someone else and then we'll talk about their family history. And all of this stuff I'm sure is very relevant to the main mystery, but there haven't been enough ties or enough references back to the main mystery that have kept me going, if that makes sense. Like, it hasn't really propelled forwards with the plot. It just feels like we're just meandering this way and that way, and you know, it got to the point where I was like, I don't actually even care that much about the main mystery anymore because I don't know, it's just, yeah, it just hasn't kept me interested, I think is the main takeaway from this. So yes, I will be putting this down. I'm trying to be better with myself because I tend to not DNF books just because, as I said before, I'm a bit of a completionist, and I don't know, it just really bugs me putting books down. Like, I just always want to see things through to the end, but I'm trying to get better at that because I have a limited amount of time here on this earth and there are many books that I want to read, and I shouldn't be, you know, slogging my way through a book and getting myself into a reading slump when I could be reading something that's going to be much more enjoyable. And I'm sure you would much prefer to hear me talking about a book that I'm actually passionate about and that I'm having a really good time with, rather than sort of not having much to say about a story because I'm not really feeling much towards it and I don't have any real thoughts or positive things to say about it. But please take my thoughts with a pinch of salt because I do know that this has had quite a lot of positive reviews, and so I feel like if you do enjoy a mystery and if you do enjoy a supernatural mystery, maybe give this one a go because it does have a really cool and intriguing setup, and the setting's quite fun, but yeah, unfortunately it just wasn't for me, so I'm going to be putting it down and choosing something else. So I'll keep you posted with what I decide to pick up next, and yeah, I guess I'll speak to you later. Hey everyone, so I am back in Norwich and we have a belated Halloween party thing happening tonight. I say party, we've got our Dungeons and Dragons family coming over and we're going to play D&D, and we've all decided to dress as our characters because we're incredibly nerdy. So meet Fig. I am a gnome druid and I have green hair and I'm in full costume. I've gone all in and I'm very, very excited. So let's play D&D.
I look like a magician, which is kind of fitting. My character is a human warlock.
Yeah, you look so good.
He's supposed to be like in his 50s, which I can't do, but...
Look at the tash. It's so good. Hey everyone, so it's the next day and I wanted to give you a bit of a reading update and let you know what I decided to read next, because I've had quite an unsuccessful month so far. So I decided to go for The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher because I've read quite a lot of books from this author and I know that I really enjoy their writing, and I don't think there's been any books by her that I haven't enjoyed. There's definitely been some that I've enjoyed less than others, but I was pretty sure this would be a safe bet of a book that I could easily sink into, and I'm so glad that I did because I've sailed through the first 100 pages and I'm really enjoying this one. So thank goodness I'm finally picking up a book that I'm really enjoying this month. So yeah, this is a horror book. It's an adult horror and it follows our main character, who's a woman called Kara, who's going through a divorce, and she moves in with her uncle who actually owns this museum. So she's staying in the museum and it's a really weird museum full of all these strange and mysterious objects. A lot of them are probably fakes and it's just a very quirky setting. And then one day she finds this hole in the wall and she goes through it and follows this kind of secret corridor that's hidden behind the wall and basically uncovers a portal that takes her to this alternate reality where there are all these other portals to different worlds, and it's very strange but also really cool. And what I love about this story is the characters, because our main character is so relatable, but she also has this friend who goes with her and he's kind of this quirky guy and they have such fun banter between them, and it really reads like how two friends would actually react in these situations, and it's just quite funny. And that's something that I really enjoy about T. Kingfisher's horror books, and this is no exception in that it is weirdly wholesome even though it's incredibly eerie and there's lots of strange and unsettling things going on. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this one. There was also a moment in here that had some imagery that really got under my skin for some reason, and it's not even that horrific, but for some reason it just really kind of made me shiver. So I'm just going to read you a little bit of it. I guess you could consider it mild spoilers, so if you don't want to know anything about the story, maybe just skip forwards a little bit, but I'm just going to read you a little bit. So just for a bit of background, the characters are in a school bus, and it says, "I was looking down the centre aisle of the bus, except that the seats were no longer empty. They were full of children, except the children were inside the seats. I could see them moving under the green leather, distending it as they pushed forwards against it. It moulded to their faces and shoulders, drew tight around their fingers as they reached out through the leather. Were they trying to get out? I couldn't tell. They might simply have been moving restlessly as children do, climbing over the seat backs and turning and talking to each other, waving their arms and poking each other. I don't know if the children trapped in the seats heard us or simply sensed that I was awake, but they began to move more violently. Fists punched against the leather. I watched one girl, I was nearly sure she was a girl, pull her knees up against her chest. The green leather moulded itself over her arms as she leaned forwards, hugging her knees. I could see the individual barrettes in her hair, but the way the leather pulled tight across her face left her with blank eye sockets and a lipless, tented mouth." Ugh, I don't know why, but that's just really unsettling, the idea of these children that are like trapped in the seats. I don't know, there's quite a lot of eerie moments in this story that talks about kind of different worlds kind of colliding, or, you know, people trying to push through from one reality into another, or you know, you might be looking at something, but are you just looking at a facade? Is there something else behind it? I don't know, there's lots of kind of situations like that that just really unsettle me and make me feel kind of uncomfortable. So I'm really enjoying that about this book, weirdly enough. And yeah, I'm just so glad that I picked this one up. So yes, thrilled about that. Anyway, I think I'm going to end this video here because I think it's probably quite long. I'm sorry if the end of this video has been a little bit chaotic, but my life has also been a little bit chaotic, so I guess it kind of reflects that. But I hope that you've enjoyed it. I've had such a fun time in Wales and seeing our friends and playing D&D, and yeah, fingers crossed my reading improves over the latter half of this month because I didn't have a very successful start. But anyway, please let me know what you're reading. I'd love to have a chat with you in the comments. Don't forget to like this video if you did like it, and do subscribe if you haven't already, and I guess I'll see you next time with another video. Bye!